Hello everyone, my name is Dorian and welcome to Long Beach. We are with the Porsche 911 GT3R and I'm just going to show you guys the lap real quick and then we're going to take it corner by corner. The track is boiling hot, 40C and above, so your first lap is actually your fastest. I tried the fixed setup, didn't really work out for me at all, so I'm using VRS. It has more wing and better turn-in on low-speed corners. Move the brake bias a couple clicks back and it feels just fine. Now, if you enjoyed, leave a like. If you want to see more of it, subscribe to the channel. Let's get on the track. Okay, so we're coming up to turn number 1. Now, the first thing you want to note is where to put the right side of the car, because if you go across this blue line, this is a pit exit, so you're gonna have an off track. Let's look at the outside for a second. Look at the right side of the tires. You can see I'm lining it up, so I'll have a right side of the car right around the white line here, so that's where I'm aiming towards. You definitely don't want to go across the blue line. Now let's look for the braking point itself. Gonna be, we have the 400 here, we have the 500. We're going past the 500 slightly. I'll start braking right around 460. Let's call it that. 470. That's our safety margin. You can brake later, but you'll lose a lot on the exit from turn 1. You're just gonna burn up the front tires. The track is super hot, so maintain those tire temps into the corners is vital. Braking early, braking as soft as you can afford to, really gonna help you. Now I am peaking at around 90%, but you can see the releases comes in pretty quickly, so I'm gonna release all across the braking zone. Got the right side of the car where I want it, which is right on this yellow line, and as I downshift into second, right around here, I would say, yeah, right here, I'm gonna initiate the turn-in. Maybe slightly before that, you can see these white signs. The one before the mode tool sign, kind of your indication, but you're not really looking at it. Second gear, you can see the brakes are going to release more and more now. Trail braking into the first curb. Inside, you can clip it, you can mount the high part a little bit. Won't upset the car, especially the Porsche. It's really good here, so it's not a big problem. You want to cut it as much as you can. Just trail braking all the way. As I go over it, I'm going to start accelerating to around 70%. Wait, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Wait so you know you won't hit the wall here. Then start opening up the wheel and back to 100%. Immediately hugging the red line here, being as close to the wall as possible. And staying in second, don't upshift into third. It's just gonna upset, you're just gonna slow down your deceleration. I mean, you're not gonna slow down quickly enough for this corner. And you want to brake relatively early here, because if you try to slam on the brakes late, the car won't turn in on the square here, on the roundabout. It just won't go right. So you really want to try to brake early. You can see I'm peaking around 60%. You're not peaking too high here. Taking the car to the left, using this apex as kind of another corner. So you can see I'm turning left quite aggressively here, just to open up this corner. And I'm gonna downshift into first right here. Still braking around 45-50%. As I turn in the wheel, quite late. Trail braking. Staying on for a little bit, a lot of wheel input. And going back on the power gradually. Just squeezing the throttle in. This is pretty, pretty accurate for all the exits here. So you just want to squeeze the throttle. You never want to slam it. The car won't respond well. And you can see I'm just hugging this apex on the exit. Just trying to take a short route and already prepare the car for this right-hander. I'm going to upshift into second and stay in second throughout these double right-handers. This double right-hander, I mean. Our braking point is right towards the end of this black sign here. Right around here. You can see I'm very shallow peak, around 40%, 35%. And starting to trail brake the car. Turn in, I would say right around here. Looking for the apex, looking for the inside curb. The high part here is not that recommended. It can chuck you to the outside. You just don't have enough space to be able to do that. So don't overuse it. It will, you will end up touching the high part just a little bit if you're doing it correctly, but if you go over it too much, it's just gonna ruin the corner. You can see I'm going back to the power quite early here, but very gradual. With the acceleration 50, 60, 70. Open up the wheel back to 100%, taking the car all the way to the left, hugging the wall. And we got this dirty part on the concrete barrier here, and that's our braking point. So right around here, that's when you want to brake, sort of. 50%, I would say. Yeah, don't need much more. You're going uphill here in this specific section. And starting to turn in the car, yeah, right around here. Beginning of the black sign here. I'm looking for an early apex. That's going to allow me to go back to the power quite aggressively or quite early as well. 50%, something like that, and squeezing it from 50 to 100 very slowly, all the way to the outside, and you're going to the right again. Now, this braking point, well, the apex on this corner is vital. So I brake pretty late here. This is as late as I've ever braked and without missing the apex here. But if you can't find the apex when you brake this late, this is around the 240, I would say. We have the 300 here. Well, the 250-ish, 240. You can brake a little earlier. No big deal. As long as you don't miss that apex. If you miss that apex, you're going to wash out. You won't be able to go back to the power. You're going to have a bad time. So I'm braking right around here, beginning of this white sign, I would say, around 240. Peaking pretty high, 80%, 90%. Immediate release down into second gear, all the way down. So now into second. At the end of these star signs here, I'm going to start to turn in the car. As I do, release the brakes, trail brake into this apex, and look at how close I got to it. The closer you can get to it, the faster you'll be. I was a little too aggressive on exit. The car kind of danced. But if I was a little more patient, that would have been another half a tenth easy. This is pretty much as close as you want to be on this apex. And that's really going to help you have a good exit here. You can see I'm already back on the power. So pretty early, because you're not missing this apex, you can go back to the power so early. The apex is not this curb. This is your apex, the wall. So you want to be as close to it as possible. Squeeze in the throttle, you can see. I was pretty gentle. I should have waited a little while longer, a little greedy. See, it washed me out quite a bit. And the car was just playing around. I might have missed a half a tenth on that. Very short lap, so missing half a tenth is actually crucial. Especially in qualifying. Taking the car all the way to the left here. And yeah, I would say if this is the 300, let's call it the 250. That will be our braking point. Braking to around 65, 70%, releasing it. Right around the 150, as I put it in second, I'm going to start to rotate the car. As I rotate, you can see the brakes. I'm doing something kind of weird. I'm going from 50% to, I don't know, 5-10% immediately. Because any amount of over 5-10% of braking here that you use is just going to make you wash out. So you got to do most of the braking quite early and then just let the car, give the car time to rotate here. Nice late apex. Don't want an early apex here at all, so you can go back to the power aggressively. You can see around 70% slamming it, waiting on it a little bit, and then back to 100. Huge straight here. There's a lot of time to gain, but just clipping that apex light. Okay, just line up the car to the left and past the 400 way before the 300. If you're drafting, I would brake at the 4. But if you're not drafting, I would say 380. Pull it, something like that. Car on the left, car to the left of the red line, I mean. And peaking around 9%, releasing it quite quickly. Gonna start to turn in before the signs here. You see how more than starting to turn in into second gear. Releasing more of the brakes, fully mounting, fully going over this curb. This little piggy doesn't care. Just, you know, it's so good on the curbs. That's the big advantage here, and on the bumps as well. Squeezing the throttle on the way out. You have to be very patient here. If you're too aggressive, you're gonna wash out. And even if you don't hit this wall, you're gonna mess up the next double left-hander, which is vital for your lap time. So really don't want to be too greedy here at all. Just be very, 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 you know, linear with your throttle input on the exit here. Yeah, up to 60%, and it looks like I'm clear, but I'm not. I'm still gonna wait. Only now back to 100%. Now our lifting point for the next corner is this drainage. You want to be to its right to open up the corner as much as possible, and lifting the throttle a little bit. You can see I'm modulating just a little bit, making sure I'm steering with the throttle, not turning in too harshly, because if you do, you'll get an off track here. And you can see the car is pretty much all the way on these curbs. Trail braking ever so slightly. I'm just trying to make sure the car doesn't wash out here. I want to stay tight throughout here. That's how I like to take this line. I'm going to downshift into first. That's going to give me some rotation. And in first gear, on the second apex, on the second corner, I mean, the throttle will also give me rotation. So that's what I'm going to do. So I was rotating, and throttle just going to rotate me extra into this left-hand curb, all the way over it. And as I straighten out the wheel, I'm starting to straighten out the wheel around the accurate signs, the end of the accurate sign or the beginning of this F. Press F. I'm going to start braking. So you see I'm starting to brake, but I'm not slamming the brakes yet because I'm still straightening out the wheel. And when the wheel is straight, I'm going to use more and more brakes, right around 50%. Staying to the left of the rubber here, so as close to this white wall as possible. Trying to open up this corner as much as I can, and using a crap ton of wheel input here. So pretty much a truck driver mode. That's how I like to take this corner. I know people can use less input. I feel like this might be a little faster, or at least more consistent, if you just go, you know, like that. Trail braking a little bit to the apex, and now I'm gonna, because I'm going so slowly, I need to start building up the RPM, but you don't want to do it too harshly because you'll start to push the car forward, and that's not what you want. The exit was really difficult here. So just very gradually, very patiently, 40%, waiting, 50%, 60%, and only now back to 100 as I can see I'm through. And as I go back to 100, look at how quick I'm opening up the wheel. So bam. And that's how I do it. It's kind of, you know, probably not optimal, but that's the line I found to be most consistent for me. And that's it. That's gonna give us 118,617. Hope you guys enjoyed this track guide. If you did, please leave a like, and if you want to see more of it, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what you think, and hop over to my Discord as well. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.